we see a decrease by 11.9% straight to 59,000. Now, we want to see the changes at household level in the past 12 months or over the 12 months. Housebreaking is the most prevalent household crime occurring in the past 5 years, and indeed we can see when we look at the amplification of on the right hand side, we can see that home robbery compared to housebreaking on the left hand side is dwarfed. We can see all the crimes are actually dwarfed. So we even had to amplify them to come to the level of housebreaking. So we can see that households that experienced housebreaking decreased by 1% from the year 2024-25. And of course, that is when we come from looking at where we were in the past cycle. And indeed, when we look at other crimes, we can see that the ones that went up, although still dwarfed by housebreaking, are home robbery and sexual offenses, whereas the others continued going down, as in assault, theft of motor vehicle, and deliberate damage to property. All households that experienced incidents of murder reported to the police. Indeed, less than 50% of housebreaking incidents were reported to the police. So let us look at housebreaking, for example, which has occupied a larger space. It's less than 50% in terms of reporting, sitting at 43%, whereas murder, although incidents at household level were not as much as housebreaking, we can see that it was reported at 100%. And it's because generally murder is usually shocking to society, shocking to the neighborhood, shocking to everyone, that sometimes by the time, even if it happens when members of the households are not at home, when there's only one person who is the victim, people in the neighborhood, if they have had an alarm being raised, they will have already alerted the police, and of course the police do the due diligence in terms of recording, and of course that relates to reporting. And of course, when we look at theft of motor vehicles, we're sitting at 83%, and as we know, people have to go and claim from insurance. They do go and report an assault, sitting at 67%. And of course, those that fell below 50% are sexual offenses, housebreaking, and of course, a theft of livestock, poultry, or other animals. The majority of households indicated the reason they did not report housebreaking incident to the police in both 2023-24 as well as 2024-25 was because police could not do anything due to lack of proof. So we can see right at the top, it indicates that police could not do anything due to lack of proof. And of course, we can see the following one says police would not do anything about it, whether there's proof or not. And of course, some resorted to solving it themselves. And of course, as we go down, some said they didn't have an insurance, so there was no need to go and report right at the bottom, third from the bottom. Some do not know what to do, and of course, some have fear and dislike for the police. That's about 0.5%. Now, we want to see when we had much experiences in the past 12 months of housebreaking. It peaked during June, as we can see right at the bottom. We were sitting at 164,000. And of course, you will know that in winter, people tend to sleep early and tend to sleep longer than you have in summer because the sun goes down relatively later. And of course, about 58% indicated that weapons were used during the incident of home robbery. And of course, as we say so, 71% indicated that a gun was used. So we can see that when we go to the right-hand side, firstly, let us look at assault, for example. In terms of assault on the left-hand side, we can see that 53.8% said a weapon was used. And in that case, we can see that in terms of assault, the knife was leading the red color on the left-hand side, within the box on the left-hand side, 31.5%. But when we go to the right-hand side, home robbery, we can see that the gun was leading, sitting at 71.1%, and of course a knife was sitting at 30.3%, almost the same as assault. We want to look at individual experiences of crime, and indeed we have 7 types of crime: theft of personal property, street robbery, hijacking, sexual offense, assault, psychological violence, and consumer fraud. We want to start with the 5 years, and we asked individuals to recall the events over the past 5 years, and we can say that 3.1 million individuals experienced theft of personal property during the past 5 years. As we can see from the left-hand side, we came from 2.1 million all the way to 2.9 million, and we started declining a bit to 2.8 million in successive years, and then now we are peaking to 3.1 million on the right-hand side, and that shows an increase of 12.4%. In terms of street robbery, 1.1 million individuals experienced street robbery during the past 5 years. And of course, we can see that about 5 years ago, we were sitting at 800,000, and we remained so, and we went up to 1 million, 1.1 million, and we have gone up by 2.5% from the previous year, still returning to 1.1 million. That is on the left-hand side. As we go to the figure on the right-hand side, or the sketch on the right-hand side, we can see 1 million individuals experienced consumer fraud during the past 5 years. And of course, it had peaked much during 2021, 2022. We can see we started on the left-hand side from 600,000, we peaked to 1 million and dropped to another 600,000, 700,000 in the previous year, and we see an increase by 37.9% all the way to 1 million on the right-hand side. 582,000 individuals experienced psychological violence during the past 5 years. And we can see this has been increasing. Coming from the time of 2022, 2023, we can see we're sitting at 379,000. We went up to 491,000. And of course, we increased by 18.5% all the way to 582,000 in the year under review. And when we look on the right-hand side, 132,000 individuals experienced sexual offense during the past 5 years. And we can see that we came from 2022, 2023 at 112,000. We went to 116,000. And we went up again by 13.8% all the way to 132,000 on the right-hand side. Now, individuals that experienced assault in the past 5 years, we can see this has been increasing all the way from 515,000, 650,000, and an increase of 13.2% all the way to 736,000. And of course, when we go to the right-hand side, we want to look at hijacking. 340,000 individuals experienced hijacking during the past 5 years. And of course, when we look at where we came 2020, 2021, we're sitting at 151,000. We peaked to 330,000, went down a bit to 280,000. To 87,000 in the previous year, which saw an increase of 18.5% straight to 340,000. Now we want to look at changes over the period of 12 months.